They literally tried to remove Trump from the ballot and use as evidence of a crime when he tweeted stuff that was clearly not suggesting violence, like fight like hell. I don't know anyone who's spoken out more clearly against political violence of all stripes. However, let me be clear. I do not think you are to blame for violence if you talk about threatening things politically and you don't act as clearly as I do to decry any forms of violence. I think you absolutely have the right to say, I think that candidate is terrible and will destroy this country in a litany of ways, and we must stop him. You have that right. And if some unhinged lunatic goes out and harms someone because they heard people like you talking, you should not be criminally to blame. Now, you might want to rethink letting your audience know that you don't support that sort of stuff. But I just want to be clear. That is my stance yesterday. That is my stance after January 6th. That was my stance during Black Lives Matter. That'll be my stance tomorrow. That is my standard. Does everyone understand that? Because now I'm going to say something. Who gives a shit about my standard? Why should my standard matter? Do I have any power? No. If I was in control of the country, that's the way it would be. If I was in control of the country, there wouldn't be some guy in jail right now because he had a meme about the 2016 election. If I was in control of the country, the FBI wouldn't have went and talked to Aircraft Sparky many times because he was there January 6th, even though no one even remotely accused him of doing anything violent. That's the standard I have. Fuck these people on the left. How many people have I personally debated that said that Donald Trump engaged in terrorism in part because he tweeted things like, fight like hell? Remember that? Remember when they tried to kick him off the ballot for saying fight like hell, and because he retweeted someone that said the cavalry's coming? That was their standard. That's proof of engaging in an insurrection. So what's this? If you were running your mouth on stream the past 2 weeks about, oh no, you could use SEAL Team 6 to assassinate your opponents, why shouldn't you be held to the very standard that you wanted to hold others to? If you blame people for stochastic terrorism, someone says Destiny has, maybe he has, Vosh has, and saying, oh, your rhetoric leads to people to do something violent. Oh, you talked about great replacement theory, so you're responsible if someone shoots someone. I think that's outlandish. I don't think Vosh would be to blame for Trump getting shot today. But why does my standard matter? Now keep in mind, this wasn't harmless shit. They literally tried to remove Trump from the ballot and use as evidence of a crime when he tweeted stuff that was clearly not suggesting violence, like fight like hell. Why shouldn't they be held to that standard? Apparently, Joe Biden said a couple of weeks ago, now it's time to put a bullseye on Donald Trump. Really? Remember when Congressman Gifford got shot and they tried to blame Sarah Palin because she put a strategy out that had the county where Gifford was shot in a month earlier with a bullseye on it, as in, we're going to target this county to win? And they said, now she needs to be investigated. Why should it be any different? Why should Joe Biden be allowed in the ballot if Trump was going to be removed? Remember when people like Chuck Schumer blamed Trump for inciting violence and then said Kavanaugh would reap the whirlwind? Then there was an assassination attempt on Kavanaugh? Remember that? Now I want to be clear before I'm clipped out of context, which I will be. Hey, all you lefties that are watching and that are going to watch this in the future and want to clip this. No, I'm not saying you should go to jail. I'm not saying you should be censored. I'm not even saying the FBI should visit you. I think that's ridiculous. I think that the vast majority of people, including pretty much everyone I've debated, was not calling for violence against Donald Trump. That's what I think. But you didn't give a fuck when it was the shoe on the other foot. So don't expect me to try to help you if people call you out and you say, because I know it's going to be the big victim game from them. Because people are going to call them out. Oh, you were saying Trump was Hitler. You were saying Trump could send SEAL Team 6. Biden said put a bullseye on Trump. And these people are going to go, that's outrageous. That's outrageous. Fuck you. Every one of you said Trump saying fight like hell meant that he inspired an insurrection. Or at least 95% of you. Isn't it funny when the consequences of what you act for, not the calls for violence, or I mean, not the calls for how bad Trump is, but the fact that you wanted to say that the standard should be, oh, if you say fight like hell and things like that, then you're responsible if violence occurred. Why should the standard be different? It's your standard. It's the Democrat standard that you're voting for. Instead, what will be asked, it's the same fucking game. It's always the same game with these people. Republicans were responsible. I did a whole thing on this. Bernie Sanders had a fundraiser off the fact that Gifford got shot. He said, is it even safe to walk down the streets as a Democrat anymore? That's what he said. Then when a Bernie Sanders supporter shot Steve Scalise, did Bernie say, it is my fault for my rhetoric? No. Did Nancy Pelosi say it's our fault for our rhetoric? No. When a right-winger does something and hurts a left-wing person, it's the right's rhetoric. It's Trump's rhetoric. It's Trump supporters' rhetoric. It's Republicans' rhetoric. When a left-winger does something against a Republican or Trump or something, it's, well, we all need to tone down the rhetoric. We all need to tone it down. I'm tired of that shit. I agree. I agree with the fact that it would be nice if it was toned down. It would be nice if we're not locking people up for memes. It would be nice if the FBI wasn't fucking following people that just happened to be there January 6th that didn't do anything wrong. It'd be nice if they weren't subpoenaing bank records, or not even subpoenaing most of the time, just having banks work with them to see who bought things that were in the area. That would all be nice, but that's not the world we live in.